next set here. So we're gonna go to sophomores, and you're gonna go to week 7 through 9 for infographic. And let me get my screen nice and large here so you can see this. So infographics, all right? This is a pretty vast assignment with a lot going on, okay? And so we're gonna break it into pieces. And of course, these videos will be full. This is your introduction video. What is this about? Then we're going to talk with the presentation all about infographics, and then we'll talk about the assignments themselves. Okay, so this is just your introduction video, me talking a little bit about what the assignment is. So at the heart of what an infographic is it's what we do. It communicates information visually, and you've seen them everywhere. You've seen them all over the place. They're so big on social media right now, but they're in magazines, and they're in posters, and they're everywhere, all right? So information that is normally kind of boring and people don't really read, you take it and you put it into a form visually that people can understand quick, okay? And so that's part of the process here. So your assignment objectives on this are, first we're gonna do a presentation on infographics, then we're gonna complete a funny reading assignment. You gotta complete that before you move on, okay? So that's step 1 is the funny reading assignment, okay? Then you're gonna do an infographic activity. All right, you got to complete that first before you move on. Then you're going to do visual research, a minimum of 6 images. All right, you're going to save them so we can put them with your sketches. Then you're going to use sketches, a minimum of 6, 1 for each infographic and 1 that shows the whole layout of the poster, and I'll get to that in a second. And once sketches are approved, you can complete your comp. When 2, 3, and 4 are approved, you can begin your design. Don't jump ahead. Okay, jumping ahead is only going to lose you points, and it's going to make it that much harder. Okay, those of you that are remote do not need to print out your infographic to be handed. Those of you that are in class will need to print out your infographic to hand it in. Okay, your learning targets, you're going to be able to take the data that is written out and show it visually, and you'll also be able to demonstrate how to create vector artwork. So the first thing you're going to do, as we said, is the funny reading. So the funny reading assignment is down here. Okay, it's also going to be in Google Classroom. All right, so you go to Google Classroom, you'll see the funny reading assignment there. All right, you have the reading assignment here if you want to check it out, but again, it's going to be attached to the assignment in Classroom. Okay, you're going to go through that. All right, and I'll pop this open so you can see it. Okay, it's tips for designing an infographic. Okay, write down the list here. Okay, so there's 7 tips. All right, and your infographic funny reading question is going to be very simple. All right, choose 2 of the 7 tips and explain how you would use them. 1 paragraph for each tip, please. So 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph explaining 1 tip and the other explaining the other tip. So pretty simple. Okay, that's going to be your reading assignment. That's in Google Classroom. Okay, so the next would be your infographic activity. All right, and this is going to be, you're going to create 6 charts, 1 for each type from the presentation that we go over to represent the text. 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. So you're going to take that line, okay, that information, and you're going to turn it into an infographic, and you're going to do it 6 ways, okay, and it'll be based on the presentation that you'll see in a little bit. All right, you are only allowed to type 90%. The rest of that text cannot be there. It has to be a visual that represents it. So I should be able to look at the visual and see that it represents that information. You're going to create an Illustrator file that is 6 by 6, and you're going to create 6 artboards, so 1 for each type of chart. All the work's going to get done in Illustrator, and you're going to hand in a PDF of that work done via Google Classroom. And again, that assignment will be posted. It's not posted right now. All right. Then you're going to do your infographic poster. All right. The way this works is I'm going to give you 5 pieces of data. So if you look here, here's the data to choose from. You're going to pick one of these sets, one of these data sets. Okay. And you're going to do an infographic poster based on one of the data sets. So if it's movie ticket sales, if it's dog versus cats, if it's homelessness, teens on screens, okay? So you're going to use this data and you're going to create an infographic poster that represents this data. You are not coming up with your own data. You are using the data that I give you, okay? This process is hard enough that to weed down data and do it would be even more difficult. So I'm trying to make it easy for you, okay? It doesn't matter if 10 people do the same thing, okay? So you're going to use that data. So you must use one of the provided sets of data, okay? You're going to create 6 sketches, okay? Again, 1 for each infographic, okay? And then 1 that shows the entire layout of the poster, It's either 11 by 17 or 17 by 11. Don't forget to include margins in your layout. You have the full color as an option. You have full bleed as an option. Okay. You will need to put the bleed in. Remember in Illustrator. Okay. It doesn't happen. You have to do it. All the work's done in Illustrator, and you're going to hand in a PDF via Google Classroom as well for this, and a printed and trimmed final. Okay. So that's where all your data is. These are just some examples of infographics. Right. All of this will be done. You're going to have 3 weeks to do this whole entire piece. We're obviously going to do a ton of critiquing as well. Okay, but again, you must follow the steps in the assignment objectives. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4 must be followed all the way through before you can get to your sketches, before you can start your design. It's got to be followed through. If you don't do your sketches, you're going to lose points. If you don't do your visual research, you're going to lose points. You're also going to make it harder on yourself. Okay, so infographics are the core of what we do. They take information and they turn it graphically, okay? So visually representing data. Really, really important in our field, okay, and super important right now because as you can imagine, people are looking for quick ways to see information, and this is the best way to do that, all right? So this is just your introduction video. The next video is going to be all about infographics and kind of give you the presentations on the infographics. If you have any questions about these pieces, do let me know, but again, in the assignments video, we'll go more into depth on those videos, okay? All right.